Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Erica, the author, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Happy Monday. I hope your day has gotten off to a great start. I am here to do my review of the first part of the Married to Medicine reunion. Let me just say this, guys. It was a great reunion. This first part, it was good. The girls were clocked in. The production, they did a really good job of how they put it all together. I can say I was honestly pleased with this reunion. Normally when we watch the first part of the reunion, we're bored, we're like, okay, that was a waste of our time. But in actuality, the Married to Medicine ladies showed up and showed out. So let's get into it. Like I said, I've said this on a couple of my videos before. I'm new to YouTube, guys, and I try to give you as much description as I can. I know that many of you have your favorite YouTubers and you listen to them, so it's kind of like if you listen to me and then you listen to a lot of other people, we're kind of like repeating the same things. A lot of the other YouTubers that I listen to, you know, we have a lot in common. I do agree with them. There are some that I slightly disagree with, but for the most part, you know, we hear these reviews over and over and over again. So I don't try to give as much of my personal opinion. I do, of course, let you know how I feel about certain things, but I don't just take a whole video to give my personal opinion. But guys, I gotta be honest, I have a lot of thoughts about what happened in this reunion, and I just gotta be honest with you guys. So just hang in there with me. I'm also aware of the time. I know oftentimes you don't want a person to just go on and on and on and on and on, but I gotta be me. I gotta do me. And so let me just get it all out. Just hang in there with me, guys, and try to listen and hear what I have to say. So of course, the ladies arrive. They arrive in New York City, you know, the city that never sleeps. We love New York City. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We just love New York City. The girls are showing up. They're talking about they're ready for the reunion. We immediately go to Simone's dressing room. Her makeup artist was saying, hey, this is the first time in about 4 to 5 years that you and Jackie have not shared a dressing room. Simone said that she would rather be by herself because of how Jackie sort of betrayed her and did not stick up for her. And we'll get more into that. The ladies begin to get dressed. We see Quad talking to Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie says she's gone through harder things, but she'll get through it. We see Heavenly talking about the fact that Dr. Simone has unfollowed Jackie and all of those things. So again, we just see just the little clips of the ladies getting ready. Once Jackie gets ready, again, Jackie looks extremely beautiful. Love the blunt bob. I love her makeup, the dress, everything. Jackie was actually my best dressed at this reunion. I think she looked amazing. Andy talks to her. Andy says, hey, you know, you're not with Dr. Simone. And Jackie said, I'm really sad. Jackie said, it bothered me. And so he said, well, you know, Jackie, you know, now that you've seen everything, now that you've watched the videos, you know, you said Watch What Happens Live when you were with me on my show. Basically, I asked you if you felt like Simone was unhinged or was Heavenly, you know, lying. You said that you actually weren't there. And then I, you know, basically asked you after seeing the footage, what did you think? And you still did not give a response to whether, Heavenly was lying or not. And, you know, Dr. Jackie said, yeah, you know, Simone is not a violent person. And, you know, but Andy sort of held Dr. Jackie's feet to the fire from the beginning and said, okay, but you didn't say that. You know what could happen with her being a doctor, you know, with her credentials and things like that. And you still said nothing. And, you know, Jackie tried to talk around it, but Andy basically told Jackie, it's not what you said, it's what you didn't say. And I agree 100%. Let's hit the nail on the head. Let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Let's get it cracking. We're going to deal with it. We're going to be real. We're not going to tap dance around it. Jackie was not a friend to Dr. Simone in this particular situation. So let's keep on going. But we get to the reunion. The ladies sit down again. Like I said, Dr. Jackie was my #1 pick for best dress. Simone was, I'm sorry, not Simone. I'm sorry. Oh no, because Simone wasn't. Toya was a close second with me. The only thing that I did not really care for with Toya is that I just felt like she needed on a little bit more jewelry. She had on like the stud earrings or a little small hoop, and I just thought she should have had some really, really nice diamond drop earrings on, and also a larger bracelet or more statement piece as far as her jewelry was concerned. But Toya looked really nice. Sleeper pick, Angel looked really, really pretty. Just seeing the picture, you know, of the picture of it, I didn't really care for Angel's dress, but seeing Angel actually sit down with the ladies, with her hair, with the makeup and everything, I thought Angel looked much better when I actually saw her up close. So the other ladies, I really didn't care for their looks. Dr. Simone, no. Quad, and I love Quad, no. Heavenly, no. Mimi, no. Dr. Contessa's hair and makeup look better than it normally does, but no. And Brandy, no. So, like I said, there were only two people that I really, really thought looked good. Dr. Jackie, Toya, and like I said, Angel actually looked nice. But let's keep going. So the ladies sit down. And even one thing I will say, because I don't want to rush myself, Simone even said, Andy, you know, when she was in her dressing room, she said, you know, the reunion, a reunion actually helped save my marriage, and I didn't even get a divorce, but I don't know if it will work this time. And Andy said, we'll see what we can do. He felt like, hey, there is always hope. So again, like I said, guys, we will see as the reunion goes on. Just hang in there with me. The ladies sit down, and Andy hits bottom line, Andy just gets rolling immediately. He immediately brought it up. Hey, ladies. He addressed them. He said hello to all of them. He did his normal introductions, and then he just hit it, like I said, hit it hard. He said, Dr. Jackie, you and Simone did not share a dressing room. There is some tension there. What's going on? Simone said that, you know, Dr. Jackie is her friend, but this time she did not deliver. And that was pretty much it. We're going to get more into it, but you can tell that there was some tension there. And Andy Cohen is really concerned about it, or he wants to really get to the bottom of it. To me, it felt like Andy really wanted to somewhat expose Dr. Jackie, but also get Dr. Jackie to take a little more accountability for not being truthful. And it was very evident. If you didn't see it, if you haven't seen the episode, trust and believe, once you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Andy wanted Jackie to cop to the fact that she did not stick up for Simone. And that was pretty much it. Andy said, we'll try to come to a resolution. Toya's package was first. Toya, you know, they showed her package. One of the first questions that they asked Toya, and I do have a lot of notes here, so you see me keep looking down because I'm trying to refer to my notes here. But Toya, like I said, Toya's package was first. They were talking about everything with that. Andy said one of the questions came up of how Toya moves around a lot. Andy initially asked Toya, the first question he asked her was she selling the house? She was like, of course, why wouldn't I be? And Andy kind of joked around with her and said, yeah, you move around a lot. Toya said, yes, I'm there. Andy immediately went to Heavenly and said, Heavenly, do you believe that this is Toya's dream home, her forever home, or do you think she'll move? Heavenly, of course, used this as an opportunity to take a jab at Toya. Heavenly said, yeah, you know, I do believe that Toya will sell the home, make a decent profit, and move into, you know, a condo or a high rise by herself. And then Heavenly immediately said, wait a minute, did I say that? Yeah, you know what you're saying, Heavenly. You're already speaking negatively about and saying that Toya and Dr. Eugene will not stay together. One of the things that I've always heard Heavenly say is that you have to speak well of a situation, but we know that when Heavenly doesn't like someone, she's not going to speak well of anything concerning that person. So Heavenly contradicts herself with that a lot. You know, she would never speak anything about that over Damon or her children, but she's constantly doing that to people that she does not like. So of course we know that her and Toya butt heads all the time, and Quad even kind of checked Heavenly and said, wait a minute, you know, Toya is still married. What about Dr. Eugene? And Heavenly was like, oh, did I say that? Yeah, you know you said it. But Quad was basically saying, look, she will, yeah, if she decides to move, that's her business, but she will move with her husband. Toya immediately. Toya was ready for him. Toya said, look, I'm here. My marriage is always the topic of conversation, which it is. Toya puts a lot of her business out there. But Toya said, a lot of you guys, you want to comment on me. You want to talk about things that are wrong in my marriage, yet and still we see nothing of your marriage. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Every marriage has problems. She said her and Eugene do not speak to each other like that all the time. What you saw, she said it was a very bad situation, but that is not ultimately how they communicate. Toya even took a jab at Heavenly and said, bottom line, no matter what has happened, and even Dr. Jackie and even some of the other ladies, bottom line, you can say whatever you want to say about my marriage, but there have never been any cheating rumors. And my husband also has never said to me that he cannot trust my judgment with my sons. And that was a direct hit at Heavenly, because we saw at the beginning of the season when Damon said that he handled the situation with their son. He did not want to get Heavenly involved, and he really did not trust Heavenly's reaction in the situation. So, like I said, Toya was ready for the girl. She could handle all of them. She came at Mimi. She came at Heavenly. She came at Jackie. Jackie said that you're saying things about my marriage. Toya said, well, Jackie, I've never really said as much as I could say about your marriage. Toya did make a comment on Watch What Happens Live that Curtis needs to keep his hands off of the other women's waist, because he was in a picture with Heavenly. He had his hands around Heavenly's waist. And then, of course, we know in season 5 or season 6, I think it was season 5, where Curtis and Jackie, when he cheated on Jackie, they went to Barbados and he pulled Toya down in his lap. So Jackie said, well, you need to talk about your husband. And Toya said, oh, I do. And she said, Curtis had a long talk with Dr. Eugene, and I felt like that was unnecessary. He's the last person that needs to be talking to anybody about their character or whatever is going on. So that was just pretty much it about that. Toya also said that even in her marriage, she said, they talked about what happened at her party. She said, I literally spiral out of control. She said, I didn't like being like that, especially in front of people who really don't love my family. She said, everybody saw. She said, Quad saw me. I had a meltdown in my closet. She said, Dr. Contessa came and checked on me. She said, it was a really, really bad situation, and she said she really did not want to act like that. But again, it is not a full scope and a full picture of who her or of who she and Dr. Eugene are on a daily basis. And I agree with that. They had a moment. We know Toya has disrespected Dr. Eugene. I've been very vocal about that. Toya has been extremely disrespectful to Dr. Eugene, but I also can agree that I don't think that Toya and Eugene are fussing and fighting all the time. And it's just that their marriage is on display. Dr. Simone's marriage is on display. The other ones are able to hide and point the fingers and, make fun of or criticize, when in actuality, we're not really seeing their reality. Dr. Andy even called Mimi out and said, hey, Mimi, you were commenting on Toya's marriage. You said that it was, kind of chaotic and cringy. And Toya said, that's the thing. You don't know me, and I don't even know how you would even be able to say something like that. She said she didn't mind them correcting her, but do it in love. And, that was pretty much the end of that segment. Andy asked Simone how she felt about Toya's life. She said Toya lives a great life. She said Toya is who she is. She doesn't work. Her house is immaculate. It's always super clean. It's always very nice. And she said they will never have to, say that the house needs to be power washed. And again, that was a jab at Heavenly, because we know in season 6, Mariah told Heavenly that her house was nasty, it was filthy, and she was setting them up for contamination, and it needed to be power washed. Even Quad kind of got in on the joke and said, oh my God, not the power wash. And they kind of laughed about it. It wasn't really a tense moment. I know that they're taking jabs at Heavenly because, number one, Heavenly can't say a lot because she's running for Congress. But then again, they're kind of pushing Heavenly's back against the wall in a sense. But I just think that they are also frustrated with Heavenly too, that they really, really, really don't care. Heavenly even kind of mentioned, Toya said that she had heard some things about Dr. Damon. And when she heard that about Dr. Damon, she said that, she's heard things about him. Heavenly said, well, she heard that some things about Eugene, and how he got fired from the hospital. Time out. This is what I'm talking about. I don't want to go too long, but Heavenly has to stop doing that. Number one, Heavenly, if Dr. Eugene has gotten fired, then yes, it is something that Dr. Eugene and Toya need to talk about and be honest about. But what I will say is that Heavenly is known for lying and saying things that have no relevance or no value. We know last year she was mad with Dr. G and Sweet Tea. She called Dr. G the P word, and that could have cost him his patience, his license, his practice. We know that Dr. G as a psychiatrist deals with people who have been assaulted, who have had sexual trauma. So for her to actually call him the P word, that was very bad. Now Heavenly's back on this season because she's angry with Toya and Dr. Eugene. Now she's saying that Dr. Eugene has been fired from the hospital. Dr. Eugene was trained by Damon Kimes. We know Dr. Damon trained Dr. Eugene very well. We can see that Dr. Eugene loves being a doctor. I'm not saying that he's above, doing something bad or that, he's perfect, but I don't think that Dr. Eugene has gotten fired from a hospital. Dr. Eugene has come out on social media and said that he has never been fired from any hospital. And I just think that Heavenly goes way, way, way too far with that. What I love that Toya said was that Toya said, hey, you love to poke fun at Eugene and I. You love to say things about Eugene. You even said in the your text message about Eugene having a small, a small Peter Weeder. And bottom line, Toya said, okay, you know what I'm saying? You said it like you wanted to suck it, and Toya said, bottom line, I don't see a big print in Damon's pants either. And I said, Toya is tired of Heavenly at this point. For her to say that, I was like, and Heavenly was like, my man is from Barbados, B. And the thing about it is, Heavenly, we all know, just because your man is from the islands does not mean that they are well endowed. I mean, come on now. I mean, we know, come on now. I mean, most women, have had their encounters with island men. And let's just say this, a lot of things that they say about island men are true, and a lot of things they say about island men are not true. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it there. But anyway, like I said, they came out swinging. The gloves are off, and these ladies have been knowing each other for a long time. They've been around each other for a long time, and they're ready. Toya was not backing down. So the next package that we see is now I will say, Dr. Jackie and Heavenly did say that Toya did a great job with the party. And Toya said she appreciated their approval and them saying that about her. But she said it was everything else that she had to deal with that made it extremely bad. So we go into Quad's package. We see Quad going through the whole IVF journey, even the issues with her and King. Quad said that things happened. She said she loved King with her whole heart. She said things fell apart for them at the end of 2025, and she's basically moving on. The ladies, Andy asked her that he made mention that a lot of people were saying that Quad was using this as a storyline. Quad said she would never spend the amount of money she spent. She would never go through the weight gain, the mental torture sometimes, and the mental things pressure that you have to deal with when you're going through IVF. She said she would never just use that for a storyline. And so he asked her, where is she now? Quad says she will see where things go. She knows that a lot of women who have raised children on their own without a father, she said she thought King would be a great father for their child, but she said life goes on. And she said that it is what it is. Simone said, please, you have a right to tell me to mind my business. She said, but if the two of you could not agree on where to live and how to really get engaged or to be engaged, and so many other things in your relationship, that how did you think that the two of you were going to actually like raise this baby or whatever. And Quad wasn't angry with Simone. She did answer the question, and she said King, he co-parents with his daughter's mom, and they're it is pretty good. She said that and King doesn't live with his daughter, so she still looked at King that he would be a great father. Dr. Contessa said she just saw a difference in their relationship. She said King was doing it for her, but she didn't think that King was really interested in becoming a father for the second time. She could see a disconnect between them. Toya said it was hard to watch because she says they have spent a lot of time with King and Quad, and they were so cute in the beginning, but then she could also see where they were starting to have some issues, and she said it was kind of cringy to kind of watch them sort of go through their things. But Quad definitely said that she did not do it for a storyline. Me personally, I would never say that Quad wants to become a mother. Well, let me say this. I'm going to be honest. I feel like Quad may want to be a mom, but I don't think that Quad would go to the lengths that she probably needs to go to have the baby. You can also adopt a baby, and I know that most people want to have their own children. I've expressed to you guys my journey with miscarriages, having fibroids, even having to have a hysterectomy, and I know what the pain, the mental anguish, the distress that your body goes through in just trying to bring a baby into this world. But the reason why I'm saying that is because in recent times, in the past few weeks, Quad actually, if Quad wants to probably adopt a baby, or maybe she'll go the surrogacy route. But I'm not going to say that Quad is going to try to have a baby naturally, because she has, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, I saw online where she had a procedure done. It was pretty non-invasive, but she had a little procedure done so that she could get her back and any type of fat or any type of rolls. And we know that Quad is a very slender girl. Quad has always been in shape, but I think from her going through the IVF journey that she has gained a little weight. And we know that when you go through those processes, you do gain a lot of weight. Your body is just going through a lot of changes. And Quad said she gonna get it smoothed out. She gonna get it right, get it tight. And that's what she's done. So as far as Quad actually getting pregnant, I don't think Quad would do that. Now, will Quad readdress it and maybe try to adopt a child? Or like I say, go the surrogacy route? Perhaps. But we shall see in the future. And that was pretty much it. They said King wanted to be there. Actually, Quad kind of snapped on Contessa a little bit. Contessa said, well, did you not want him here? And Quad, you could tell that Quad was a little on edge about that. She really did not like that. She said, are you guys talking to my ex? Toya said, well, of course, Eugene and King are friends. She said King even helped King even did something really nice for Ashton for his 16th birthday. And she said, I was really grateful to him for that. And Toya said, bottom line, King said he did want to be there. He wanted to tell his side of the story because he was on the show this season. Of course, the other ladies, and this is how I feel about that too. I feel like this. It's okay for King to be friends with the guys, that's cool. But as far as King really talking to the ladies or the ladies talking to him, I know we saw a picture over the weekend where Dr. Eugene, King, Toya, and Simone were at the Atlanta Hawks basketball game. They took a picture with King. I don't necessarily think that Toya and Simone should be taking a picture with King. If King and Eugene are hanging out, cool. But I just think that Toya and Simone and any of the other women on this show need to stay away from that. From the opposite, they see King, hey, how you doing? Speak, be cordial, maybe kiki a little bit, but as far as really hanging out with him and sort of trying to keep him around, knowing that you have to film with Quad and knowing how she's going to feel about that, I would say no, that is wrong. So that was pretty much the gist of that. We will see what happens with Quad as we go on. And that was her package. The next package that we saw was we saw Angel and Brandy. They introduced Angel and Brandy. They came out, and everything's happening kind of fast, guys. So again, we're moving along. It's not boring. Angel and Brandy come out. Brandy said Andy asked Brandi, how was her first season? She said she loved it. She said there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of disagreements and disagreements, but in all, she had a great time. It was like a roller coaster ride. Angel agreed with that. Angel's whole story was when she sprayed her throat with lidocaine before she was actually given fellatio, and so they kind of joked about that. Simone even said, you know, basically what you did was you tried to numb the throat so that you could sort of deep throat during the process, and we know what that process is. But instead they kind of joked around and said, you know, Quad said Angel needed an EpiPen. Simone said no, Angel basically needed to be intubated. And they just kind of laughed and joked around about that, but there was really nothing else. There was a question, and that question came from one of the viewers who said, if Angel was a nurse, how does she not know what lidocaine really does? Angel explained what she was trying to do. She said she didn't really read the instructions. Well, they joked about that, and then that was pretty much it. Someone also asked, how did Angel get into acting? Angel said that she was a model, she was an actress. Angel was a video vixen back in the day. She was in a lot of videos for Drake, Justin Timberlake. She named the people, but she said she, you know, people have always said she's a beautiful girl, but she wanted to have brains to go along with it, so she went to school, and she has multiple degrees, and so that's a good thing for her. Brandi said that, you know, they talked to Brandi about, you know, her little issue with she and Contessa at Brandi's dinner. Brandi clearly said it was not a party, it was a dinner. But Brandi made it very clear that Dr. Contessa spoke about her marriage with Scott and how Scott had never thrown her a party. Brandi said she was very supportive and all of those things. She said she had no idea that Dr. Contessa was saying the things that she said until she was able to watch it back. She said next time, say it with your whole chest and we can address it right then and there. Don't say it under your breath. Don't mumble. Brandi was just basically saying she don't play about her husband. Her husband was nice enough to do that. And I agree with Brandi. Again, it was not a party. It was a dinner. Brandi was new to this cast. I'm sure she probably didn't have a milestone birthday. And if she did, it was not mentioned. And she was, again, new to this cast. She wasn't a main cast member where she was going to have this extravagant event, but she did invite the ladies, and I do believe her that her husband did that for her. Dr. Contessa should not have said anything. Dr. Contessa was very rude in that moment, acting very sort of like jealous in a way, and also trying to embarrass Brandi to say that what her husband had done for her was actually nothing. I think the gesture was very nice, especially for Brandi not knowing these ladies, and that's all I'm going to say. Brandi stood her ground. Brandi was not really trying to be petty, but she was trying to let everyone know Contessa and I are cool now, but we did have to have a conversation about it. I did not like it. Brandi is vocal. Brandi is also very good for the show. I think she's a great fit. She will fit in, and I hope that she will come back next season because I feel like she has a lot to contribute. Brandi also does like a lot of the cosmetic procedures, the Botox, the fillers, all those things. I think that's a big market. I would love to see, they never had a dermatologist on the show, so I would love to see Brandi do more of that work and to see who's actually coming in as her patients. And Brandi's good for the show. I really think that Brandi is a good fit. I think Angel is a good fit too, but I think Brandi fits in more because Brandi was able to show her home life. She was able to show herself at work. She was able to show her family, her kids, her husband. Shamar has even hung out with the guys. When Angel tried to incorporate the guy Bernard, it was actually a flop. We didn't see Angel really at home. We do know that Angel has 2 children, but we did not learn anything else about Angel. So that's why I say, I'm not saying that Angel is not a good fit for the show, but I feel that Brandi is more of a better fit for the show, if I may say that. So anyway, like I said, that was it for them. We see Mimi's package. We know that Mimi came in hard, but we also know that Mimi had a very touching story with her son, little Stevie, who is a special needs child. He has a mild case of, she said, autism. I'm not sure. She did use another word. I don't want to, say it wrong, but he is an autistic child. She talked a lot about that. We saw that. Mimi, the question for Mimi came from the audience of why she is psychoanalyzing her friends. Mimi says it's just hard as a psychiatrist. You never turn it off. She says she has a lot going on even with Stevie, and she says she's just a person that she doesn't like chaos. Also, professionally, her job is to sort of dismantle any chaotic situation. And so that's what she's doing. Quad stepped in and said, hey, that's cool, but you know, when you with your homegirls, you need to chill, you need to, you know, chillax on that. We don't want to be psychoanalyzed. If we want to see a therapist, we will go and see a doctor for that. Just like if she said, if I need to go and see Dr. Jackie, I will go to Dr. Jackie's office, but you need to turn it off when you're in this group of ladies. I agree with Quad 100%. We saw Mimi doing that. Yeah, Mimi, you can't turn it off. But when you start talking about how many drinks a person's had, and you're constantly saying, you know, you're chaotic, you're this, you're that, every time someone says it, you're giving everybody the medical terminology for it. You even told BRANDI that she was choosing a side at Heavenly's first little rally. And so, you know, I think the ladies want Mimi to chill out. They appreciate her story. They appreciate what she's going through. TOYA even said that God would never put more on you that you can bear, and he's keeping you through this. She spoke very highly of Mimi as a mom. All the ladies were very supportive of her and what she's going through, and how she explained that it's very difficult to have a child with special needs. But again, Mimi, let the wall down some. You don't have to be perfect, Patty, like Monique. You know, we know that you're going through some things, but learn how to let your hair down and have a little fun. Maybe that's what you need in all of this. Maybe you need to let your hair down, have a little fun. You know, you may not be one to curse and yell and fight and scream and all those things, but there is something that you probably like to do, and that's what you should do in this group. And other than being Miss Prissy and, you know, trying to be perfect and making, almost acting like a Karen in a way that, oh my God, this bothers me. Oh my God, I can't deal with this. Oh my God, I can't do that. Oh my God. Like, I liked Mimi last season when she came in. I said that she would be good for the show. But again, I have seen things in Mimi that I don't care for her, that I don't care for. Like I said, she has a very powerful story with her son, but I do want to see more of Mimi as a woman if she's going to be on this show. So the guys come. We always know that the guys have been an intricate part of this show for years upon years upon years. They all show up. They sit down. Damon immediately said, hey guys, I don't want you guys fighting. You know, Cecil said that it is bad if Steve is saying that he did not know that he was supposed to purchase a ticket to the event. Cecil said that is bad. If he did not know, then they have to do a better job of communicating. I'm just going to say this. It's my opinion. I don't believe that none whatsoever. I believe that Steve knew about the tickets. I believe that Steve came there to pick a fight with Dr. Eugene. In Jamaica, Steve said that he was out. He really wasn't going to participate and he wasn't going to donate. When Curtis said that he and Eugene had spoken and that the guys were going to contribute, and when the other guys said they were doing it, Steve said he was out. But as far as the tickets, if TOYA sent them 100 text messages, especially 48 hours before the event, they didn't even know where the event was because she changed the location. They didn't even know about where the event was until 2 days prior to the event because TOYA changed the location. I'm not saying that Mimi wasn't on the text message thread, but I'm sure that Dr. Jackie told her, hey, you know, don't worry about purchasing a ticket because Curtis and I purchased a table. We got you. Even if it was that, even if just in a conversation with Heavenly, the tickets were mentioned, Mimi and Steve knew about the tickets. Mimi and Steve knew about these tickets, guys. Nobody's going to tell me that they didn't know that they were supposed to buy a tickets. They heard about it through the grapevine. If they weren't told personally, they heard about it. So what Steve is trying to do, I see you, Steve. I don't like it. You want to fight with Dr. Eugene. And like I said, a lot of people have gotten angry with Eugene. Eugene has been a little messier than usual this season. season. He sort of got into it, but again, his issue was never with Mimi, was never really with Mimi and Steve. It was more or less Heavenly. That's where his issue lied, not with Steve and Mimi. Dr. Eugene said he invited them over to the house and said, let's try to get to know one another. I'll invite you over for dinner. Steve does not want that. He wants a thing with Dr. Eugene. It's evident, and there's no way that I'm going to back down from it. So they got into it. Basically, Dr. Eugene said, look, Steve, I didn't even think you were even coming to the event, but since you came, then you should have bought a ticket and donated. And he said, why did you even come in the first place? And he said, because it's a charity event. So Dr. Eugene said, well, I'm not going to support you in this, or support this bad behavior from you. Steve said, well, you support bad behavior every day from your wife, Toya. That's what I'm saying. It's getting personal. It's a personal attack now. And Steve, you're coming in loud, wrong, and too strong. And like I said, oftentimes when these newbies come in and do that, they end up, it bites them in the butt later on. And I really think that's what's going to wind up happening, because if they stay on this show now, we're going to find out more about Steve and Mimi. We're going to see more of their personalities. More things will come out. And like I said, we're going to see, you might need Dr. Eugene later down the road, but we'll see. And Steve came on kind of strong. Curtis even said, Steve, don't worry about it. Eugene's not going to admit to anything. Well, we know that Curtis has an issue with Eugene because of what Toya said on Watch What Happens Live. Eugene has said he's going to support his wife. I do believe that Eugene tells Toya that she's wrong, but I do also believe that Eugene knows how Toya is, and there is part of him that he can't really stop Toya from being who she is. So sometimes I'm sure he says something, but then sometimes it's like, okay, I may say something, but it doesn't matter, because if Toya wants to go back and say it again, she will. And that's how I kind of feel about it. But again, I feel like this is gang up on Dr. Eugene. The men are after him. I see what happens. We've seen it before, and that's just what it is. Scott didn't say anything. Damon really didn't even say anything. Cecil didn't, Cecil's a little more vocal, and I think he's going to say something to Steve again, but we have not gotten to that part. But again, we've never really seen the men really get into, we've seen them argue a little bit. And, but never to this point. To me, what Steve is doing is very, very, very new for the men. Aiden and Dr. Aiden, Mariah's husband, and Damon have gotten into it, but they were able to work it out. I see a little difference with Steve. I feel like Steve is doing that for clout. I feel like Steve is trying to make his mark, and I need to know what it is about Dr. Eugene that Steve doesn't like. If he sees him as a fake person, he needs to say that. If he sees that Dr. Eugene, even if he feels like Dr. Eugene is a weak man, sir, you don't comment on other people's marriage. Like I said, Dr. Eugene has never said anything about Steve's wife or about their marriage. Anything that it was mainly about the event, but it was never personal. So I think Steve, like I said, is going down the wrong road with that. They finally get to Heavenly. We see Heavenly's package and her running for Congress. It was a very short package, but that's basically what Heavenly's doing right now. She's running for Congress, and that's what it is. Andy went straight to it and said, how's your son? Heavenly said that Damon had a mental breakdown. She said she really didn't know what to do. She called her friend Mimi to help her out. I thought about it. I said, Dr. G is also a psychiatrist, and he's also a man. I think he would have been able to help Damon Jr. a little bit more, but because they burned that bridge to the ground when Heavenly called him the P word, that's why you don't do that, because you never know when you will need people. And in a situation like this, if Heavenly's really telling the truth about what happened with her son, I think that Dr. G probably could have helped him a whole lot more than even Mimi. But, even Simone kind of interjected. Simone, a lot of people didn't know why Simone said anything to Heavenly, but Simone was just saying that I don't wake up like I said, these are not storylines. Things come up with your children all the time. And I think that's the point that Simone was trying to make and interject, although it seemed like it was out of order, but that's what she was trying to say. When you have kids, you don't know what will happen with your children. When you have kids, things come up and you just have to handle it right then and there. But no one wants to have to speak ill or bad of their children or show their children in a bad light. Heavenly said that, yeah, it's her son's story to tell, so she didn't want to talk too much about it. And we know, because Heavenly has never shared anything about her family. And she said that, you know, her and Damon, she's basically said it. Hey, she said, Damon and I don't talk about everything. He doesn't share everything with me. There are some things I handle and he doesn't worry about, and there are some things that he handles that I don't worry about. And that's basically what was said. And I wanted to say this. You guys, if you've been watching my videos, you know how I feel about Heavenly. I always said Heavenly was good for the show, but I do feel like she's gone too far. I feel like Heavenly has made this mark, and she said that I will never expose my family. My family is not for sale, and I think most people have respected her for saying that. But I will say this, Heavenly, you did not, your family was not for sale, but your soul was, your integrity was, and the way that you have treated people and talked about everybody else's family and said things about people and about their kids and about their husbands and all of that, you have gone to the dark side. And I'm not saying this, so guys, please don't get offended when I say this, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes, Heavenly, you never know how things that you do will come back to you. And that's with all of us. We've all made mistakes in life, and we all at some point have to pay for what we've done. You don't know how it will come back to you, Heavenly. And the things that you've said and done to other people, you don't know if it's coming back to you through the issues that you're having with your son. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right about that, guys. So like I said, don't get offended by that. I'm just saying you never know. And I think that Heavenly has gone down such a dark road that she doesn't realize that really and truly there really is no coming back from that. And now your son is the one who's being put on display. We hope that nothing else comes up with him, but you just never know. And that's why you don't do things the way you've done it. That's why you still have to make good TV, but maintain your integrity, and don't try to cut someone else's throat in the process of you trying to make good TV. Don't try to assassinate someone else's character or really sort of bury their family, and you know, in the process of you feeling good about you and making it appear to the world that your family is perfect. And that was pretty much it for Heavenly's package. We get into Jackie and Simone. Jackie said that this is not a show. Again, it came up again. She said this is not a show. She said her and Simone have been friends for over 30 years, and she wants to address this situation. Dr. Jackie, you're wrong. You're wrong not only as a friend, you're also wrong as a medical professional. When Dr. Jackie was under fire for what she said about Black women, and it was filmed, or we had evidence of what she said Simone was the first one to come to her rescue. Simone not only came to her home, but Simone also spoke up for her publicly and said that's not who Dr. Jackie is. Now that Simone has had this situation where Heavenly has said she's unhinged and all these things, and it was sort of like under investigation of what Simone did, Dr. Jackie didn't say anything. Dr. Jackie said she was humping the fence. She was riding that fence, and she did not want to hurt either one of her friends. We understand that that happens sometimes, but like I always say in my videos, you're going to have to make a choice. And Jackie has already made her choice, and her choice was Heavenly. Andy, like I said, held he held Dr. Jackie's feet to the fire. Dr. Jackie did not speak up for Simone. Even Quad has every right to say something to Simone. She has every right to kind of lash Simone after what she's done to her, all those things. Quad said Simone is not a violent person. She would never do anything to anyone. Quad even sat there, and you could tell that even Quad, who has gone back and forth almost with Simone more than anybody on this show, Quad even, you could tell in Quad's face that she did not like that Simone was under scrutiny like that. Jackie said, Simone said, I don't know if we'll ever be the same. She said, because if you had just been honest and said that I did not push Heavenly, we may not even be in this place, but you never said it. She said, Andy asked you. She went through the whole thing. We saw Andy co-signing in the back, nodding his head. Jackie even came over to sit with Simone. She said, I don't like this. I don't like the fact that I feel like I hurt you. But Simone said, you did. You did not speak up for me. She said, everybody snapped at the event. She said, you are the person that can calm me down and bring me down to earth. She said, when I was in that moment, when we were at Angel's, her party, she said, I did go off. And she said, yes, I knew what I was doing. I was clocked in. I was ready for it. Whoever brought it. She said, and I did get into it with other people. She said, but you talked to me that day. She said, now when we went to Florida, you changed your mind. You came back and you were singing another tune and made it seem as if I was the only one who had done something at that particular event. And Simone is right. Quad and Simone got into it because of what Heavenly told Quad. Heavenly told Quad that Simone was looking up her information, and that's what Quad approached her about. When Angel came to talk to Simone, Simone had not calmed down. Simone got into it with Angel because she still had not calmed down. Because Simone knew where it came from, she had gotten angry with Heavenly, and she was upset, and she told Heavenly when they went to take a picture, I think it was Contessa or and BRANDI was also around. She said, I don't want to take a picture with this fake, this fake BI, get your hands off me. She did not push her. She did not shove her. If she had done it, Heavenly would have responded in a different way. And we saw that Heavenly was like, okay, Simone, what are you doing? Where are you going? But Simone walked away. The narrative that Heavenly tried to push and the picture that Heavenly tried to paint, it was disgusting. It was horrible. We see what it was. Simone was really not unhinged. Simone was not yelling no more than what she normally does. She wasn't trying to fight anyone. She walked away, and that was the end of that particular situation at that time. Jackie cannot say that Simone was violent. She said, well, I said that. Yeah, but Jackie, you never said it in a way to correct Heavenly. Like Simone said, if you're going to correct me, you have to correct everyone. And she did not do that. And like she said, when I needed you to step up for me, you didn't. And like I said, when Jackie got in that trouble in season 10 and Jackie was on there crying tears and saying that she was under attack and she felt bad about being a doctor and things that she said, and she said she never meant any harm, Simone was right there to hold her hand. Simone spoke up for her, in the public, in the media. Simone spoke up even at that reunion and said that's not who Dr. Jackie is. She wanted Dr. Jackie to maintain her integrity. And this time, as a doctor, Dr. Jackie failed Simone in this moment. And she, like I said, because Simone said, what could happen. The malpractice stuff, my certification at the hospitals, all of that would be in question. Again, Andy's in the background. TOYA's in the background because she's married to a doctor. Heavenly knows it because she's married to a doctor herself. Quad was quiet. You could tell that Quad knew that Simone's heart was in the right place with what she was telling Jackie. Jackie was wrong. She couldn't cop to it, but Jackie has made her choice. Like I always say, Jackie, you made the wrong decision. Heavenly, for whatever reason, Heavenly has been angry with Simone for a very long time. I don't know what the issue is, but she wanted to come between you and Dr. Simone, Jackie, and she succeeded. Now and it's not I'm not saying that you and Heavenly can't be friends, Jackie, but she succeeded in breaking up your friendship. And I promise you, at some point, Jackie, Jackie, you're going to regret it. Like I said, Simone was there for you when you had cancer. In season 8, Jackie cried when her and Simone were not speaking. Jackie said, Simone, one of the reasons that I made it through my cancer and went to chemo every day and showed up because Simone was there to make me laugh. She said Simone put it out in the hospital that if I ever needed her, that I could page that for them to page Dr. Simone right away. You don't find people like that in this world, people. You don't find people who are that loyal to you, that love you that much, that they will stick by you through good and bad. Jackie, you've made a horrible decision, and I don't like the way that you have treated Dr. Simone. I've said it in my other reviews. I pray that it never comes that you will need Simone in that way again. Because see, what you're doing now, Jackie, is you're burning that bridge, and things will never be the same between you and Dr. Simone. Simone loves you as a sister. She loves you. She would never fully turn her back on you, but it would never be the same. And I so hate that, because I know that everybody's not going to have 10 best friends. But when you can find 1 or 2 great friends, hold on to them, guys. Cherish them, love them, appreciate them, show your gratitude, because people in this world are fake and phony, and everybody is there for themselves, and they only care about what they can get from you or what they can, do to you, because we live in a self-centered world. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, but we do know in this world that's what we see more than anything. So for that to be the way it is, I do understand why Simone is saying things will never be the same between them. And that was pretty much the end of the reunion. That's how it kind of went off. Heavenly and Simone got into it a little bit. Heavenly said she was unhinged. Simone said that Heavenly is delusional. Hey, everybody can see what happened. She did not push her. Heavenly needs therapy. She said she needs a psychiatrist. She said that's why Mimi's sitting close to her. But we all know, Heavenly, your hatred for Simone is very evident. We see it. I wish you would just say why you hate Simone. It's not about Simone being loud. It's not that Simone is a liar. It's not any of that. We need to know why you really went after Simone the way you did. What was your reason for going after Simone, and why did you choose to hurt Simone by befriending Jackie? Because that's what I feel like happened. But that's just me, guys. I've given you all I can give you. That was the reunion. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if, like I said, if you know someone who hasn't seen the show, please, feel free to share my video. I welcome your comments. I know everyone won't agree with me and what I said. I truly appreciate that. As long as we can be respectful and agree to disagree, I'm okay with that. Like I said, I love hearing other people's perspectives, because sometimes it opens up my eyes to something I haven't seen. And I hope that I've opened your eyes up to something that maybe you haven't seen. But in all of this, like I said, great reunion. I do hate to see Simone and Jackie in this place, but we know that it was bound to happen. So like I said, guys, click that like button, and like I said, just keep hanging out with me, guys. Like I said, there's more to come. This is such a new channel. My life is in such a transition right now, so I do want to do other things. I do want to make my channel really, really nice for you guys and have some panel discussions and all that stuff, but just give me some time. I will get there. And have a great day. Like I said, I know we're talking about these shows and stuff like that, but I appreciate you guys even watching or just listening to me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Love you guys. Bye.